Here with Stockton Thunder head coach Rich Kromm for another edition of our weekly interview. Coach, let's start with this past weekend's game, a very tough series against the Alaska Aces. You end up splitting the series, getting a win on Saturday. Let's start with that one, a contest that you get the job done in overtime, but you did have to basically hold on after a late comeback by the Aces. How'd you feel about your team's resiliency?
Well, I thought that, letting them back into the game and giving them a point was not really on the agenda for the night. And I liked the way, after they tied it, we had a couple of shifts where we started to play real physical and shut them down and made sure it got into overtime. They had the momentum going their way, and I think in overtime we took the momentum back and obviously got the big goal with Baldy following up and getting his own rebound.
Now on Sunday, a bit of a different story, a 7-2 loss to Alaska, just one of those games where it seemed like all their chances were going in.
Yeah, they got off to that early lead. They, their first three chances basically went in, and we got ourselves into a hole. And they're a very skilled team, tough team to come back against, and they obviously showed why they're in first place right now.
Now, you do have some new additions to the roster, two fresh faces in Bryce O'Connor and Brady Ramsey. We saw O'Connor in both the games this weekend, and he did have an assist in his pro debut on the overtime winning goal. What have you thought about his play so far?
I thought good. I think he's been, pretty consistent. He is what they said he was going to be for us, and that's a stay-at-home guy who moves the puck well, plays physical, plays with a lot of grit, and we've seen that so far. He's smart. His gaps have been good. His stick's been good. So I've been very, very happy with his play so far.
Now, we haven't seen Brady Ramsey out there on the ice, but you've seen him in practice, and you obviously have the scouting report on him. What do you expect his style of play to be like?
Well, he's probably going to be a little bit like, maybe a Matt Berglund. He can score. He plays gritty. He's physical. He's probably a combination of Bergie and Garrett Hunt, if you look at it that way, because he did put up a lot of penalty minutes in the Western Hockey League this year. Got into a lot of scraps, so he's not afraid to fight and get involved physically.
Now, besides the new faces, you did have a familiar one returning in Joey Martin, a guy who had a 9-game stint in the AHL with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, but came back down to the ECHL and picked up right where he left off, a 4-point night on Friday, and he looked just like the same old usual Joey Martin, very strong for you.
Yeah, I know Joey, we know what we're going to get every night out of Joey. He works very hard. He's very skilled and creative and makes things happen offensively for us, but does not neglect the defensive side of the game, which is what makes him such a complete player for us.
Time now to take a look at the week ahead for you. A very busy week with 4 games coming up, 1 in the midweek on Wednesday and 3 this weekend. 3 out of the 4 are against the Idaho Steelheads, and so far the month of March has been a little bit difficult for you, a 3-5-0-1 record, but a chance to finish off the month strong, and you have those 3 games against the Steelheads, a tough team that has some skill in Anthony Nigro and Mitch Wall.
Yeah, they've got lots of skill. They've got a pretty good group of forwards, and their defense has got some skill as well. So I think we have to be prepared. We have 4 games in hand on them right now, and the 3 games coming up against them. So huge series with them right now to hopefully allow us to leapfrog and get ahead of them in the standings.
And last but not least, in between the 2 games with Idaho on the weekend here at home, you'll have another road game against the Ontario Reign where you have had some success. You've won 4 out of your last 5 overall against the Reign, and you've won now 3 in a row at their place. So are you hoping that success will carry over?
Obviously want to continue that in that direction and have the success in their building. We've been good there. Obviously, they're a team that's getting geared up for the playoffs. They're at the top of the division, so going to be a challenge always.
All right, that's the word from head coach Rich Kromm. Coach, thanks very much for the time.
Thanks, Caleb.